Music is often described as a universal language, something that transcends boundaries and can create emotions such as euphoria, sadness and joy, etc., etc. But when and where was music created, and why and how was it first used? Listen on to hear the story. The first use of music was actually at the time of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, which of course goes back to the beginning of mankind on planet Earth. The firstborn son of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam was Qabeel. Narrations state that Hawa, may Allah be pleased with her, in total had 20 pregnancies and 40 children. At that time, Sharia dictated that a brother and sister from the same pregnancy could not marry one another. Therefore, Qabeel, the firstborn son, was asked to marry the girl from the pregnancy of his brother Qabil, and Qabil was asked to marry the girl from the same pregnancy as Qabeel. Qabil, not being happy with this arrangement and due to arrogance, jealousy and pride, proceeded to commit the first murder on earth, which was of his brother Qabil. And because he was so ashamed to face up to his father, he decided to run away and set up his own community. Qabil, along with his sister, started to produce children on the flat lands or flat surfaces rather than on the mountains, which is where Adam alayhi salam and his family lived. It was well regarded at that time that the women from the flat surfaces were better looking than the women of the mountains, and the men of the mountains were better looking than the men of the flat surfaces. Qabil was very pious and very dear to Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. In place of Qabil, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted Hazrat Adam alayhi salam a son called Shaykh, who was also a prophet of Islam. Being a true leader, Prophet Shaykh, may Allah be pleased with him, forbid the people of the mountains to mix with the people of the flat surfaces. True to form, because of the situation of there being two communities and a divide, in enters the Shaitan. The Shaitan saw this as an opportunity to meddle with affairs and cause some trouble. Shaitan one day disguised himself as a young man and started to teach some of the young men who lived on the flat surfaces how to play musical instruments such as flutes and drums. The people of the mountains would hear the music being played and started to mix with the people on the flat surfaces, something which, as we mentioned earlier, was forbidden. The mixing of men and women eventually led to affairs, adultery and so on, until it got really out of hand. People from Qabeels Community took further advantage and held music festivals, the first ever known to mankind. This led to the mixing of people. Those from the mountains who started to mix with the women of the flat surfaces would go back to the mountains and tell the others of how good looking the women were. This encouraged others with weaker iman to start mixing and causing haram. You see, music was first used to manipulate and encourage people to break the rules of that time. Further to that, music was used to influence people in their emotions and ultimately weaken their faith for that purpose. There are different arguments as to whether music in its entirety is forbidden, as some scholars do make exceptions to certain instruments, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Today, the music industry is worth billions of dollars. However, if you wondered where it all started, well, now you know. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. It helps us out a lot and helps the channel grow. And until the next time we meet, Allah Hafiz.